Hello everyone, Bryan Colter here for your astrology report for the upcoming new moon in Virgo that happens on August 30th at 3:37 AM Pacific time. And this is a powerful new moon because this is a supermoon, which basically means it's a little closer to Earth than normal and it looks bigger in the sky. So this suggests that the lunar energy is really maximized now. And new moons are perfect for new beginnings, recentering our awareness in potential new directions in our lives. So it's really good for, let's say, making a prayer or setting some sort of, ritualistic or ceremonial intention for a new direction. This new moon sets the tone for a big shift in energy because from late July till about August 21st or so, all the personal planets were in the sign of Leo. The personal planets are, Mercury, the Sun, Venus, and Mars. And now at the time of this new moon, all those planets have shifted into Virgo. Okay, so from the expressiveness, the fiery expressiveness of Leo into the cool, calculating energy of Virgo. So from fire to earth. All that Leo energy was so refreshing because the first half of the summer through the eclipse season was a bumpy road for a lot of us. Okay, so Leo came in, really loosened us up and helped us to shake off some of the trials that we experienced. Leo energy is expressive. Okay, Leo is known as the performer archetype. Okay, so it is about creative self-expression. So our creativity, our inspiration for new ideas was at maximum during that time. And this was strengthened and accentuated by the fact that the Jupiter-Neptune square, ongoing square of the year, was coinciding with this Leo. Jupiter expands the boundaries of what we thought possible. And mystical Neptune is more about boundarylessness, kind of feels like a big bang. And then we add in the explosive Leo energy, which is incredibly strengthened by this potential for divine inspiration that Jupiter and Neptune represent. Artistry and creativity, filter into our consciousnesses. Okay, so we probably had many light bulb moments. I know I did in my own personal life. Okay? And of course, this is strengthened by having some meditation, a daily meditation practice. And it really opens the floodgates of this, Neptunian potential. Okay, so perfect time for the conduit for the muse. In my opinion, and this is a bit of a soapbox moment, but I believe all artists are mystics. And there's some people think I've gone too far. I don't think I have. Like, for example, if we take an existentialist, poet who thinks when we die there's no afterlife, if we were to watch him writing a poem and he's stuck for the next line, what we'd see is him staring off into space. And then suddenly, a jolt through his body and he, writes the next line. Where does inspiration come from? Okay. So even though this poet wouldn't exactly believe he was the conduit for the muse, I think he actually is. So meditation's really good now. Okay. It has been all year, but this Neptune-Jupiter square continues until October, and it's about to crescendo, in the beginning of September. So there's no better time to really cultivate our daily meditation practice. Okay, so now we're shifting into this new direction with Virgo energy, recentering our awareness in this new beginning with this new moon. Okay, so we're taking this Leo energy, we've been dancing through, all the creativity. And now it's time to make it real. Virgo is an earth sign. And actually, at the time of this new moon, we have 8 of the 10 astrological planets in earth signs. And that's pretty rare. So arguably, 80% of what we're experiencing is earth energy. Kind of silly to break it down mathematically like that, but it's a useful thought. Earth energy is always about making things real. So we take these inspirations we've been cultivating, all these ideas percolating in our consciousness. And then it's time to give them some form and see them take shape and concretize in our lives. Now, the 5 planets that are in Virgo during this new moon is Mercury, the Sun, Moon, Venus, and Mars. And actually, they're all about within 9 degrees of one another, all right next to each other in the sky. A 5-planet stellium, all holding hands in Virgo. Also, we take into consideration that Mercury is in the sign it rules, Virgo. So this Virgo and Mercury energy is on steroids. Now, Mercury zips around the sun about once every 88 days. So as above, so below. Mercury corresponds to the fastest, most frenetic, elements of the human psyche, the endless zooming buzz of our thoughts. This is a mentally hyperactive time, and our cognitive abilities have a sharp focus. A focus that can bring our cultivated creativity into reality by Virgo's drive to do good works. Virgo, archetypally, is known as the servant in astrology, and the highest expression of the servant is to follow the virtue of service, to do good works. Okay? So the question becomes, what inspirations can we make real in the world for the betterment of others or ourselves? Okay? And then leverage the, darting intellect to navigate around potential obstacles. Virgo is also known as the Virgin, archetypally. And this isn't about sexuality, but rather the virtue of purity. Okay, so Virgo always compares the actual with the ideal. It's like, here is what is, but here is what should be. Or here is what I am, or here is what I should be. Kind of a perfectionist energy with Virgo. Now, perfection is a harsh master, because if we always judge ourselves by perfection, we'll fall short, because we're imperfect beings. Okay? So this can lead into a pattern of being too hard on ourselves or self-doubt. So with this influx of Virgo energy, it's important not to judge ourselves by the standard of perfection, but by the standard of our efforts. And this is a perfect time for effort because we can take this Virgo energy and get a lot done with it. It's very productive if we just get out of our own way. Virgo is jokingly called the worrywart. Okay, and it does tend to be an anxious sign. I have a Virgo moon. I know this well. I do tend to get a bit anxious, especially when I'm doing YouTube videos. But this can lead to one classic trap with Virgo, endless preparation with ever actually doing or taking action. Okay, that's a shadow manifestation that stems from the self-doubt and anxiety to make things perfect. Along with the 8 of the 10 planets in Earth, we also have 7 of the 10 planets in mutable signs. And this is very, very interesting because Earth energy and mutable energy are just much, much different. So Earth energy, more about solidarity and realism and practicality and sometimes rigidity. Okay, mutability is a lot different. It's much more about adaptation and being flexible. And the shadow side of mutability is it can kind of spin in circles a little bit. So just far different energy and opposite in a lot of ways. Just riffing on the energy here a little bit, it makes me think of like trying to walk through the desert sands, and you're walking one foot after another and your foot just sinks into the earth, the sand goes around it, and it just takes a lot more effort because we have to, keep our balance, use our stabilizer muscles, okay? So we're still making progress, but it just takes more effort and adaptation. Virgo is a mutable sign. So how Virgo can spin in circles is falling prey to our own anxiety and accelerating with the brakes on and not really taking action out of fear of imperfection. On the high end, though, mutable Virgo with different situations can remain practical and logical. Okay, when you're faced with a new dilemma, Virgo can analyze the situation, find the answer, and then apply the solution rather rapidly. Okay, so this is where we see Virgo adapting and mutating to a new situation, and then using logic and reason to resolve the issue quickly. This new moon is strongly supported by the planet Uranus. because Uranus is in an exact trine to this new moon. Okay, Uranus will be at 6 degrees of Taurus, and then the sun and moon will be at 6 degrees of Virgo. Now, trines is a beautiful aspect. It's a 120-degree angle, and this will create a dynamic where Uranus will be greatly enhancing the energy of Virgo. Uranus is the wild card in astrology. It brings the unexpected. It also represents our uniqueness and individuality. So Uranus, the god of earthquakes and lightning bolts, is giving Virgo some turbo boosters. So if we can barrel through our insecurities, have faith in our ability to mutate around obstacles, and also relax into the idea that imperfection is okay, then Uranus will enhance our improvisation with ingenious ideas and flashes of insights. Uranus trine Mercury can be quite inventive. So in what area of our lives are we likely to make our inspirations solid or go in new directions? This is where it's really helpful to know our own personal birth charts and understand where this new moon is landing on your wheel. In the 10th house, maybe. Think career or mission-oriented directions. Or the 4th house of your chart, family dynamics, whether it be your family of origin or the family you create, or maybe dealing with your literal house or home. Or the 9th house of your chart. Time to go on a new adventure, travel plans, or starting to learn something new. If you don't know your own personal birth chart and you want a professional to look at it, you can look at the links below and you'll find information about the services I offer. Mars and Venus are also a part of this new moon. Mars represents the divine masculine. Venus represents the divine feminine. And here they are, perfectly holding hands in the sky. Oh, the planets of passion and intimacy. Okay? So this may be an opportunity for, at least for the single folks out there, for maybe a new romance floating into your life. And look for that potential, especially if this new moon lands in your 5th house of romance and courtship or your 7th house of intimacy. But if that's the case, make sure you take action on your part, by going to, a party you would normally avoid, or going to a dating site that you've left behind. This way you can take practical actions and do your part with your own consciousness and free will that makes the likelihood of these events occurring. Your true love isn't going to jump through your monitor. All in all, this is a beautiful new moon, pregnant with potential. As long as we tap into this warrior, Mars energy and be assertive and sharpen our will by barreling through some of these inner Virgoan resistances. Ideas and creativity are wonderful, but unless we take practical action and make our inspirations solid, they're just ideas. So with 8 planets in Earth signs, they're saying, let's make it real. So that's the evolutionary intention, with the goal always to expand our consciousness.